One thing many people don't know about me is I did not grow up in a Christian household. I didn't give my life to Christ till I was older. A guy by the name of Troy, you know who you are, invited me to a bowling alley where they were having church, and then I'd never been to church before, and to go to a bowling alley, I thought that was kind of cool. Well, after we get done bowling, we go to this back room where there was this couple, Charlie and Fawn Brents, where they had been missionaries and they were talking about their mission trip. And during the course of their talk, they had posed a question. If you died today, do you know where you would go? And I was like, oh. And later on, Troy, we were in the car in the parking lot of that bowling alley, and Troy asked if how I answered that question. I said, what question? He said, if you died today, do you know where you go? And I was like, oh yeah, I'd go to hell. He said, well, what are you going to do about it? And I said, well, I'm going to start doing more good than bad. And he said, that's not how you get to heaven. And I was like, what? What do you mean that's not how you get to heaven? I was convinced that that's how you got there. And he proceeded to tell me what Jesus Christ did for me on the cross. Fast forward, I give my life to Jesus Christ, and I am full tilt passionate about the Lord and so thankful for what he did for me on the cross and forgiving me for my sins. Now, if you look in Luke chapter 7, there's this woman who she anoints Jesus' feet with oil, and she's crying on his feet and wiping her tears off with her hair. And of course, people start grumbling. Jesus poses this question about a person who owed a lot and a person who owed a little. They were both forgiven. Who loved more? Well, obviously, the person who was forgiven for the greater debt loved more. And so later on, he says in Luke 7, therefore, I tell you, her many sins have been forgiven, for she loved much. But he who has been forgiven for little loves little. I knew I had been forgiven for a lot. Therefore, I love him a lot. I am grateful and I am thankful for his sacrifice on the cross for me. So now I tell everybody about it. And it's almost like there's this magician duo, Penn and Teller. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They've got a show. Well, Penn is an atheist, and he has this. He was given a Bible once, and this is in an interview. This is what he says. He says, "I've always said that I don't respect people who don't proselytize. That means share your faith. I don't respect that at all. If you believe that there is a heaven and a hell, and that people could be going to hell or not getting eternal life or whatever, and you think that, well, it's not really worth telling them this because it would make it socially awkward. How much do you have to hate someone to not tell them about the gospel? How much do you have to hate somebody to believe in everlasting life as possible and not tell them that?" I believe, he continues, I believe beyond a shadow of a doubt that if there was a truck was coming at you and you didn't believe it, but that truck was bearing down on you, there's a certain point where I'm going to tackle you. And he says, this is more important than that. And so, and I would agree with him 100%. We have these friends and we have these family members that we say we love, but we're not sharing the gospel with them. I found this poem a long time ago, and it has really meant a lot to me. I want to share this poem with you. It goes like this. I say poem. My wife says, no, it's poem. And so I'm going to share this poem with you. It goes like this. My friend, I stand in judgment now and feel that you're to blame somehow. While on this earth, I walked with you day by day and never did you point the way. You knew the Lord in truth and glory, but never did you tell the story. My knowledge then was very dim. You could have led me safe to him. Though we lived together here on earth, you never told me of your second birth. And now I stand this day condemned because you failed to mention him. You taught me many things, that's true. I called you friend and trusted you, but now I learned, now it's too late. You could have kept me from this fate. We walked by day and talked by night, and yet you showed me not the light. You let me live, love, and die. And all the while, you knew I'd never live on high. Yes, I called you friend in life, entrusted you in joy and strife. Yet in coming to this end, I see you really weren't my friend. Do you really truly love the people that are in your life? If they do not know Jesus Christ and you're not sharing the gospel with them, do you really love them? Because there is no greater truth in the world than what Jesus Christ did for us. And if you have the cure to sin and you're not sharing it, that is not a good thing. I want to challenge you today to do for someone else what someone did for you. And that is to share the gospel with them. Tell them how to be saved. Tell them how to be forgiven for their sins. So that when they stand before God, like this poem says, they won't be having you in mind when they stand before God. Have a great day and God bless you.